And by the way, I'm giving away these 2 books today. We'll have to figure out how as we go along. This comes out in October. It's going to be available. It's trade paperback is the release, but there's also a hardback version that was being printed for libraries, and it's available online. You can order it through Amazon. So if you want the hardback, it's available. And that I feel is maybe my best book. My editors think so. My agents think so. A couple of friends of mine who are bookstore owners think so. So it's a standalone. Zombie fans in here? Okay.
Yeah.
If Night of the Living Dead had an actual scientific explanation, I came up with a way of explaining zombies that my scientist friends say is not only entirely plausible, but a couple of them are like, wow, we should try that. People call me weird. And on something that involves both Chris and I, on October 26th, this comes out October 25th, October 26th, the History Channel is going to be airing a 2-hour documentary on zombies called
Zombies, A Living History.
A Living History. And we're both experts on the show, along with Max Brooks, Roger Ma, who wrote the Zombie Combat Manual, Schulzman. What's Schulzman's first name, do you know? Dr. Schulzman. Who wrote the zombie autopsies, and a couple other folks. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And if anyone's going to ZombieCon, I know I should plug another con here, but it's Monday. At ZombieCon, we're showing a trailer for it. Did you know about that?
You told me about
Yeah,
that.
they're showing a trailer for it, so it should be really good, really fun. And this is the year of the zombie, as far as I'm concerned. So.
It is.
So, sorry, Chris again.
Huh?
All right, I thought you did you have questions? Or should we just open it up to
I was just going to say, it seems like you've got a ton of fans here, so let's just open it up. And who's got a question?
As Joe Ledger would say, hit me.
Anybody?
In King of Plagues, there's a character that I'm going to leave unsaid, but there's some things that happened this year in between the book coming out and now that might have changed some of it a little bit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, actually, it's addressed in Assassin's Code. Bin Laden is dead. Yes.
Yeah.
So that character is officially killed off by SEAL Team 6. Joe doesn't take any credit for it, but it is mentioned in Assassin's Code that has happened.
Okay.
So you can assume that King of Plagues happened a week before the death of Bin Laden, and Assassin's Code happens a couple of months after. So we work history in as much as we can.
Excellent.
Yeah, when I first heard about that, I was like, "Yay, America!" And oh, balls, do I have to do a rewrite? Luckily, it wasn't too. He was actually going to have a walk-on in that scene as one of the other kings, but no, he's dead.
Anybody else?
You know how you did like jiu-jitsu and karate and other martial arts? Were any of the fight scenes in the Joe Ledger series based on actual events that you went through?
In King of Plagues, there's a scene that kind of starts the way I was in one of the fights. Actually, as a bouncer, I used to drink coffee. I used to drink tea or coffee all the time as a bouncer because we worked I worked 4 years in a strip club as a bouncer. FYI, really seedy, nasty club. And I was often by the door, and you get cold wind blowing, so I got hot coffee. And there was a fight that just started brewing. Some guys they decked one of the other bouncers, started getting in my face. I had the hot coffee. They got it in the face. And then from then on, it was seeing how many hard surfaces I could bang them off of. But the way Joe starts his fights is very similar to the way I used to fight when I was a bouncer or bodyguard. When something happened, I don't drop into a stance and you offended my family. Not really that sort of thing. It's like, okay, bam, hit somebody before they can hit you. Not just somebody's giving you a dirty look. Like you see somebody pulling a knife or they're grabbing something to hit you with, you take them out right away because you don't want to find out if they're really, really good at this. Last thing in the world you want to find out is you're fighting a guy who's like the national champion of something, and he just happened to be drunk and pissed off that day. And I've seen guys bouncers get in a fight with Golden Gloves boxers and pro boxers. It's like, oh, it's an ugly scene. So, preemptive strikes. Yeah. But all of the fighting techniques that Joe does are drawn from the martial arts I've studied, so I can write about them with precision. And quite a few of them are drawn from things that have happened to real people. There's one scene in Patient Zero where Joe is being asked to go into a room and help sort out who's going to be the team leader for Echo Team. And there was a guy in one of the Delta teams when it was being formed. That was his story, essentially. He was in that room and he just cleaned their clocks. It's the sort of thing where if you announce that you're going to have a fight, that would be a real long, dirty, deadly fight. You can sucker anyone. Anyone can be suckered. So he was suckering guys who became major operators in Delta because he was the guy in that room who just was ballsy enough to do it, And
That scene ever.
yeah, I took that scene and just expanded and had a lot of fun with it, So yeah, it's all real stuff. Joe, anytime if there's ever a technique that Joe does that seems implausible, it won't be in my books because I don't like weird. I don't like fight scenes where the impossible is happening. Yes.